this is Diane with Bolan-Beaty Boogie. This week on the show, Marc brings his friend Archie, who is a spirit scientist, to meet us. When we were taking our break recently, Marc traveled a lot with Archie. They're both very much into unusual energies, traveling to kind of unknown places or meeting with beings that are legendary, and that's how they formed a friendship. And the first trip that Marc talks about, I was given an insight into that. The second one I've heard nothing about. Marc wanted, as he says, to keep it hush-hush. He wanted to surprise me. It seems like there's maybe additional journeys that need to be taken, but it's fun to hear what they're working on together and what's happening out there. I was hoping Marc was going to be able to do a light language for us because it's just a great healing for us. And what's great about the light language healings is that each individual, each person can take what they need from that healing. It's not the same for everybody. And so you can just tune into what Marc is doing and you'll receive the healing that is best for you at that time, if you're open to it. So hopefully he didn't have time, obviously, this week because he didn't do it. So hopefully maybe next week I'll ask him again. So hope you enjoy the show. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Yep. It's Marc. Yeah, I made it. Pretty easy today. No problems at all. The frequency looks pretty good. Yep. I'm like a plane, really. I fly. Yep. Yeah, clear. What is it? Clear sailing? Okay. Yeah. So again, hello, I'm Marc. You may know me as Marc Bolan from the rock band T-Rex, and I am here with my friends. Channeling through Diane's body. Spirit elements are of course around me. Yeah, how's everyone here? In the studio. Got our scouts. Okay, so let's start. Today we have a very special guest. Well, he is a dear friend. I would call him a dear friend. Well, yeah, that kind of feels funny. It's not usually my language, but a very good friend. Okay, Archie. Okay, yeah, and Diane had some questions about why he appears in a Scottish kilt, and maybe he will answer that question for us. Okay, so let me make an introduction here. Marc. Oh, wait, what? Oh, okay, yeah, he's not here yet, but he is coming in. We weren't sure exactly when we were going to be able to do the show today, and he was on standby in the green room, right? Well, then he should be here soon. Okay. What? Yeah, we might get a light language session in today as well for healing for everyone. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, my good friend, Archie is well, he's a scientist. Okay, he is a scientist, and you may think, okay, well, are there scientists in spirit? Yes, there are. Okay, there are scientists in spirit. Again, yeah, I should just mention that. If you think of something that's happening on the earth or a profession on the earth, or usually that is, has a parallel in spirit, okay, and that's really kind of where it all comes from anyway, right? So if you think about it, it may not look the same, it may not feel the same, in the same way, okay? Yeah. So, yeah, is that hard to explain? Well, yeah, there are, for instance, okay, there are physician-type spirits who are working on cures and healings for the physical on Earth, on other planets, depending on where they're located, right? So that's where a lot of this information that you're using on Earth is coming from, okay? It's being developed in spirit. Okay, and then people are pulling the information, humans are pulling the information from guides or connections they might have in spirit, and that is helping your planet, okay, and humanity, right. Well, you may feel that many things are amiss right now, but there's also the, yeah. Well, there's only so much. Spirit will help with where they can, okay? But there also has to be some form of permission from humans, okay? Yeah, because Spirit is not going to, enforce anything. Not enforce. wrong word, wrong word. Yeah. Spirit is not going to, oh wait, hold on. Yeah. Force their will or whatever. The information has to be gladly given and taken. Okay. Yeah, just let me connect a little bit here. Okay. Oh, Archie's here. Okay, yeah. Fanfare. Who. Yeah, fanfare. Yeah, please come in. Yeah, please come in, Archie. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Some of the guests who come on the show, I'm not that familiar with, but I do love meeting all of them. But Archie, I'm a very, 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 very good friend of. So please come forward. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Archie, yeah, welcome to the show. Yeah, I've been talking to Archie about coming on the show for quite a while. When I first introduced, well, Diane does know him, but not as well as I do. But when she first met him a while back. Okay. Yeah. We were taking a little bit of a break on the show, and I was doing a lot of traveling with you. Okay. So Archie, I don't think you're going to channel through Diane, right? No. He's not into that. You're not into that, right? No. Okay. So Archie, I will translate for you then. Okay. Yeah. Okay, first things first. Okay, Diane wants me to ask you why you appear in a Scottish kilt. And yeah, you've got, red. Okay, yeah, maybe I should, yeah. So, yeah, you appear as, and in spirit, I see him differently. I can see him differently, but this is how he wants to present himself to, well, to Diane and to all of you, okay? So, yeah, so you're very tall, you have a red beard, you have red hair, and you're in a Scottish kilt. Right? Okay, so Archie is saying that sometimes, well, spirits can present themselves however they wish, okay? And it depends. Usually if you're in spirit, for instance, I won't necessarily see you like that, but he's saying for humans, okay, it's oftentimes, and I think we've talked about this before, it's oftentimes easier for humans while you're in, or spirits while you're in a physical body, to present yourself as another human, okay, because you can relate better. I show myself to Diane as Marc Bolan sometimes. Other times I show myself as energy. We don't really show each other. It's more energy. It's more energy instead of visuals. Yeah, so it just depends on how you're connecting with the spirit. Archie said, yeah, no, he did. Yeah, you're saying you did have a life in the Scottish Highlands. Yeah. Okay. Oh, you were. Okay. Yeah. So you were with the Bonnie Prince, right? Bonnie Prince Charlie, right? Yep. Yeah, it didn't work out too well though, right? No. Didn't work out too well. But why are you? Yeah. So is there something about that life in particular that you're wanting to still bring up, or? Okay. Okay, so Archie's saying he hasn't had a lot of physical lives, right? Now that was so he's saying even though it didn't end well for him, okay, it didn't end well for him. He was a person of prominence in that life, okay? And while you were alive, you weren't alive for that long, but while you were alive, you did have a lot of responsibility. Okay, and that's true in your spirit life now. Okay, you do feel like you have a lot of responsibility, and no, not necessarily that you feel like you're important. No, but you do. Okay, so he's saying he has a place where you feel like you have a place in your spirit life that maybe not too many others can pull off, so to speak, or have the knowledge to do. So you're very proud of that, understandably, right? And it was the same. Yeah. So you're saying your life as a Scottish laird, yeah, Scottish laird. Yeah, were you? Pretty close. He's saying, yeah. So you were very, well educated. Yeah, well educated. Okay, he's saying maybe not necessarily in Scotland, but yeah, you were very well educated. And you did oversee lives of other people, and you hope that you were just, okay? Yeah, you hope that you were just, okay. So it was a life of responsibility, and Okay, so he's saying that even though he met with a kind of grisly end, he did have people in that life who he cherished and loved. And so, when he's when he feels like he should show himself, or feels like he should describe himself, or not describe, you know what? Okay, show yourself as a human. That's the life that will come up. Now, he's saying that's pretty common with spirits, especially if it's a life maybe that they just, their most recent life, physical life. You might just pop that one back in because, or back on, because it's easier for one, and because you have, yeah, depending on your relationship to that physical life, it could be something that you're very close to, right? Right. Well, I'm very, very so close to Marc. Yep. Okay, so let's start. Yeah, we did a lot of travels. And you're still looking at some of that information, okay? But let's talk a little bit about some of the travels that we took. Yeah, I know we don't have a long time. But yeah, there's one in particular that Diane wanted me to ask you about, because she was shown a snapshot of it and she thought it was pretty fascinating. Okay, so when we first started out on our travels, well, I was with you for how long? Probably like a month in Earth time, right? Which goes much quicker in spirit. And then you went off on your own, right? Because I had other things to do back closer to Earth. And yeah, so Archie, you are very fond of going very far out, meaning there's not too many places in the universe or the galaxy, whatever, that you're not afraid to kind of go to, right? Right. And I think Diane mentioned before that there are very mysterious places in the universe, just like there are on Earth, but obviously more in the universe, where there could be tales told or histories that seem kind of spectacular or outrageous, or there could be beings that maybe are legendary. Yep, legendary. Meaning that no one has maybe seen them or had contact with, but there are stories like folklore. It's kind of like folklore and spirit, right? And you want to come to some type of understanding about these energies or places and find out whether or not there's truth, or is it all fiction, or is it story? Yeah. Okay, so yeah. So the first place we went to was, so let me explain it. It wasn't as far out as other places we went. Okay, it was stalagmites. In a cave. That's how it looked. Clear. They were clear. Yeah, I'm focusing in on this here. They were glistening. Okay, now this is what's interesting, and Diane found it interesting. She wants me to go into depth because I didn't really tell her much. So this was a highly advanced form of beings. Right. No, and this is physical, non-physical. Okay, yeah, they were what? Yeah. No, they weren't in the physical form in the sense that you would think of it on Earth. No. They were advanced. They were too highly advanced for anything that physical. Okay, that grounding, that dense. They weren't. Oh yeah, no dense. No. Right? No. They weren't dense at all. Okay, so. Yeah, so I'm sending everyone who's watching a little clip, a little photo clip, a little photograph, I guess you would say, of what I'm seeing. And that might help you if you can tune into that energy. Okay, so these beings, it doesn't, the name of what their name would be probably too complicated because it's very long. Okay, but so why did we go see them, Archie? Okay, so he's saying they're one of the very advanced beings. Now, how much contact do they have? He said so they're not completely inaccessible. None of these, right. Or more accessible than others is what you're saying. Right. And what makes them so highly advanced? Okay, just that they've been around for so long. Okay, just that they've been around. But they're very, yeah, some questions that are coming up here are, if they're so advanced, they seem very sedentary, don't they? Yeah, they weren't mobile at all. And when you think about, yeah, and that's not necessary, of course. If you think about some type of, related to Earth, some computer brain or something, it's not movable, but yeah. And, okay, so, yeah, Archie is saying that they're kind of like that. They're so highly advanced civilization that they don't need the physical aspect of themselves, but they're still showing themselves as some type of three-dimensional form. They can. Yeah, and that's what's interesting about them, because they can see, yeah, you can view them as some type of 3D form, even though they're not. Right, does that make any sense? Yeah, well, so you're saying they could adapt. Well, yeah, I'm not 3D. I'm in a 3D body right now, but I'm not 3D. Yeah, but they can show themselves as different depths. Now, is that pretty common with things? Yeah, he's saying, yeah. That, well, it depends on the civilization. Some don't care. But these particular beings knew that we were going to be transmitting this to Earth, and so that's how they're showing. So we can describe them to you. Right. Yeah, and someday we might go into the 3D, whatever, 2D, whatever, 5D, whatever. But yeah, not today. Okay. So yeah, I'm just going to walk you through what we experienced with them. Okay, so I'm walking. So it looks like a cave. Okay, it's a very, 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 yeah, and Archie's helping me with this. It's spectacularly, yeah, some of these, spectacularly, yeah, some of these words that I could say very easy as Marc sometimes don't come through as well. But yeah, it's like you're in a glass cave. Okay, that's what it is. Yeah, and if they're suspended in space. Now, yeah, what's interesting is that, yeah, they're almost hard to explain, because there's nothing similar in humanity for these beings. So if you, yeah, okay, and the hum, okay. So if you're walking around them, there's a very, very, very definite hum. It's not music. No. It's not. It's a very, yeah, it doesn't go up and down. It's just a steady hum. Okay, and this is their form of communication. They communicate via energy waves. Okay, which of course a lot of beings do. But these are, yeah. So it's a form of tapping into energy, which is of course very common. But the minute, yeah. So if you think about it, on one of these stalagmites, there could be millions of different individual beings, but what's interesting is that their energies will form to make up. They can make up one. So you could tune into a section of them. You could tune into one of them. You could tune in, and yeah. So why would you want to do this? Okay. They're kind of yeah. So. Right. I'll tell them about that. They're a repository, okay? And we've talked about this before on the show. They're a repository of information, okay? And there are several of these throughout the universe, okay? And they can come in many different forms. We've gone to ones that look like museums. We've gone to some that look like, what do you call it? Amusement park? Is amusement park, this brain is saying. Amusement park, something like that. Like Disneyland. Yep. I like Disneyland. Okay. Yep. Something like that. But it just depends. These are a little bit, I would call it, yeah, this brain is wanting to say again a step up, not meaning it in any type of judgment sense, but advanced, yeah, societies. Okay, civilization. I wouldn't call them a civilization. I would call them more a society. So yeah, so you could go there. You could go there with questions. Okay, you could. Did you Archie? Did you go there with questions or? Okay, you did. You did. Okay, so Archie's questions veered more toward scientific study. Okay, about atmospheres, planets. Yeah, yeah. Well, kind of what you would on Earth call molecules and atoms and things like that. But there are different forms of that in spirit. And so yeah, so you're saying that so how things are constructed, how things travel, how different energies travel, how they explode, how they go in on themselves. Yep. So you had some information and they answered it. Okay, yep. Well, I was kind of along for, not kind of along for the ride. But yeah, I wasn't really, yeah, I did ask some questions about that. Since I'm very, very, very into sound waves, and well, there are vibrations in spirit. Okay, there is music in spirit. Okay, and I did have some questions about how that can be transformed, mutated, and just differences in that. Yep. And a light. Yeah, different forms of light. I had some questions that I asked them about that. Yep. Okay, how often have you been there before? No. Yeah. So they are very welcoming. Okay, they are very welcoming, but they don't meet with other energies very often. Right. So yeah, you have to plan ahead of time. Are they're not really at a secret location. They're just very subtle. They're very subtle, and they're not always available. So that's what was yeah. So Archie's saying he's waited a long time to be able to see them or to be able to converse with them. And so this was very special. Right. Okay, let's do one more. Let's go a little bit further out, Archie. Okay. Yep. No, I went, yeah. So this is more like deep space, right? Deep. Yeah. And you were thinking, okay, is there anything happening in deep space? Okay. Yeah, where the cave dwellers were very light, bright, and very engaging, very open to engage. This was pretty much the opposite, right? Okay, so let's just describe a little bit where we went. Okay, now Archie had some coordinates. Okay, yeah, and where'd you get these coordinates? Okay, through hard work and study, you're saying. Okay, so you had heard about some energy, and it's not necessarily an energy that he knew he could engage with. No. So why did you want to go there? He heard about some energy, not necessarily that you could engage with it, but why was it so peculiar then? Just because how deep it is into space, okay, and how it is not very accessible, but there had to be some other reason you wanted to go there. Okay, because you had heard from others that it was impossible to get to. Okay, this particular coordinate, yeah. Well, of course, all space has coordinates, right? Yeah, of course, just like on a map. But why was it? Okay. Others had tried, and it was never. Oh, okay. Yeah. So he's saying others had tried. Because you have other friends who do this or other colleagues who do this type of work. And what's interesting, he is saying that they would set up some type of course for these coordinates that there was enough evidence that whatever was at this location was actually there. yeah, okay, he won't go into that because that gets really involved. But he's saying when his colleagues had tried to go there, it seemed like the place moved, right? The coordinate, yeah, like the energy moved from where it was supposed to be. So yeah. So you're wondering, where did it move to and why, right? Did it not want to be found? Was there some type of life form or energy source there that was intelligent, that knew it didn't want to be found, right? So you had a lot of questions about why it seemed like this, and it was, so he's showing me, and yeah, this is what I saw too. It looks like a big black box in space. Yeah. So it was a force, like a big, yeah, like a massive black box. Oh, yeah, and it could condense its size. Yeah, it could condense its size. So it's tricky. It's kind of a tricky. So there's been legends about this, and no one knows exactly who or what it is. Right. Okay, so that's the last quest I was on with you. Right. Okay, so yeah, and we would seem to be getting closer to these coordinates. And the energy, and you'd get a sense that, okay, well, I can kind of feel the energy. You could tune into the energy, not sure if it was the energy, and then it would get smaller and disappear, right? Right, that's what was happening. So is it, yeah, it wasn't necessarily frustrating, was it, Archie? No, Archie, no. It was more, well, it made you want to find it more. Yeah. So it made us want to find it more. Did we find it? No. Not really. Not in the sense we wanted to. Okay. Not in the sense. I'll tell you. Yeah. You want to tell him? Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I can use your words. No, he's saying, okay, I'm doing okay. Okay, but yeah, you'll help. Okay. So, yeah, the last chance we had, yeah, so this was the strongest sense of this energy that we had. And we knew it was this energy, okay? We knew it was the energy that we were looking for because it was in the place where we thought it would be, and it was behaving the way we heard it might, okay? And yeah, and we had some other help. Yeah, we had some other colleagues who had looked for it before, and they were there, and they said yes. This is the energy. Sometimes it would go completely. Yeah, it would be blank. It wouldn't be there. Okay, so yeah. So what happened was, yeah. So we got to the space, right? It was condensing its size. It was making itself larger. The closer we got, the more it was condensing itself. So we assumed that it wasn't, it could tell we were there, and it didn't really want to be found. Okay. But yeah, but it left us with, that's it. It left us with, a gift. Each one of us a gift. Okay. Yeah, no. Yeah. So if you think, yeah, it's an energy gift. It's an energy gift, but it's an energy gift which sounds not yet to be open. Not yet to be open. So they gave us an invitation. So they were intrigued, okay, that we had taken so much time or effort to come find them. And they gave us kind of a gift in the opportunity of come back, and we may be ready to speak with you and to engage with you. Okay, so maybe it's an energy. Yeah, Archie was thinking maybe it's an energy for some reason that needs to look you over, but also it has to be on their terms. It has to be on their terms. Yeah. So yeah, that's where we left it with them. That's where we left it. But each one of us got, it looks like a key. Yeah. It looks like a key. It's in our space. So it looks like an invitation that if we want to come back and can come back, they might be open to divulging more about themselves. Right. And so it's still a mystery. But Archie is saying, based on what he has heard, for some reason, this seems to be the closest that anyone's ever gotten to this energy and actually gotten something in return. Right. Okay, is that all we have for today? Yeah, okay. Well, thanks, Archie. Yeah, thanks for coming on the show. Yeah, I wish we had more time to talk about some other of the trips that you've taken. Yeah, so what Archie does is he goes to these different places, and then you spend a lot of time looking at the data, putting the data into data places, right, and then coming up with conclusions or information that others can use, just like any scientist on Earth would do. Yep. Okay, I think that's it for the show today. Yeah, thank you everyone for coming, and this is Mark signing off, and we'll be back soon.